Hello and welcome back to the Boosted English Podcast. I'm Liam and I'm very happy that you are here with me today. In this episode, we are going to talk about a famous television series called Friends. We will tell the story of the show, we will talk about the characters, and we will gently explore why so many people around the world love this series. It is a simple story about friendship, about life, and about growing up together. So take a deep breath, slow down, and let's begin.
Part 1. What is Friends?
All right, Emma, today we are going to talk about something that many people know, a television series that became very famous all around the world, the show called Friends. And before we talk about the story, I would like to slow down and explain something very simple. Friends is a story about 6 young adults who live in New York City. But even if it sounds simple, the show is really about something deeper, something very human. It is about friendship. It is about everyday life. It is about the small moments that make life meaningful.
Yes, Liam, and I think that is one of the reasons why the show became so popular. Because when people watch Friends, they often feel something very comfortable. They feel like they are sitting in the room with these 6 characters. They feel like they know them personally. And after some time, these characters start to feel like real friends.
Exactly. And this is very interesting, because the show is not about big adventures. It is not about superheroes. It is not about saving the world. Instead, the show is about simple things, about relationships, about work, about love, about mistakes, about learning how to be an adult.
Yes, and this is something many people experience in their own lives. When you are in your 20s, life can feel confusing. You are trying to understand who you are. You are trying to build a life. You are trying to find love. You are trying to find a job. And sometimes, the only thing that helps is your friends.
That is a beautiful way to say it. So in a very slow and simple way, we can say that Friends is a story about 6 people who help each other grow up. They laugh together, they argue sometimes, they make mistakes, but they always come back to each other. And in a way, the show is like a long story about friendship over many years.
Part 2. The 6 Friends.
Let's now take a moment and talk about the 6 characters. Because the heart of the show is really these 6 people, and each one of them has a very different personality.
And this difference is very important, because when personalities are different, interesting things happen. People react differently. People think differently. And that creates funny situations, emotional moments, and sometimes even conflict. Let's start with Ross. Ross is a paleontologist. This means he studies dinosaurs, fossils, and ancient life.
Ross is also a very emotional character. He often feels things very strongly. Sometimes he is nervous. Sometimes he is jealous. Sometimes he is romantic. And one of the biggest stories in the show is his relationship with Rachel.
Yes, Ross and Rachel are one of the most famous couples in television history. Their relationship is complicated Sometimes they love each other. Sometimes they break up. Sometimes they misunderstand each other. But their story continues for many years.
Then we have Rachel. At the beginning of the show, Rachel is a young woman who comes from a rich family. She arrives in New York and she decides she wants to build her own life. She wants independence. She wants to discover who she really is.
And over the seasons, we see Rachel grow. At first, she works in a cafe. Later, she begins working in the fashion industry. And step by step, she becomes more confident, more independent, and more sure of herself.
Another important character is Monica. Monica is Ross's sister, and she is known for being extremely organized. She loves cleaning. She loves cooking. She loves when everything is perfect.
Yes, Monica has a very strong personality. She is competitive. She likes to win. But she is also very caring. Her apartment becomes the central place where the friends meet. In many ways, Monica's apartment is like the heart of the group.
And then we have Chandler. Chandler is known for his humor. He often makes jokes, especially when situations feel uncomfortable. Humor is his way of protecting himself.
Yes, and this is something very human. Sometimes people use humor because they are a little afraid of their emotions. But over time, Chandler grows. He becomes more open. He learns how to express love. And his relationship with Monica becomes one of the most beautiful stories in the series.
Now let's talk about Joey. Joey is an actor. He is charming. He is confident. And sometimes he is not the most intellectual person.
That's true. Joey is often portrayed as simple, but he also has a very big heart. He is loyal. He protects his friends. And he shows that kindness does not always come from intelligence, but from sincerity.
And finally, we have Phoebe. Phoebe is probably the most unusual character in the group. She has a very unique personality. She is creative. She sings strange songs. She sees the world in a very different way.
Phoebe brings a lot of imagination to the show. She reminds the group that life does not always have to follow normal rules. She is free. She is unpredictable. And that makes the group even more interesting.
Part 3. Why the show works.
So, Liam, one question that many people ask is this: why did Friends become so successful? Why did millions of people around the world fall in love with this show?
I think there are several reasons, but one important reason is that the show feels very human. Even though it is funny, the emotions feel real. The characters experience things that many people understand.
Yes, things like heartbreak, like losing a job, like trying to find love, like feeling lost in life.
Exactly. And when people see characters experiencing these things, they feel less alone. They think, "Ah, I understand this," or I have felt that too.
Another important element is repetition and familiarity. Many scenes take place in the same places: the coffee shop, Monica's apartment. These places become comfortable. They feel safe.
Yes, it is almost like returning to a familiar living room. When people watch the show, they already know the space. They know where everyone sits. They know the rhythm of the conversations. And that creates a feeling of comfort.
Part 4. Friendship as a family.
There is also another very important idea in the show, and that idea is this: friends can become a kind of family.
Yes, sometimes people move far away from their families. Sometimes they live in big cities, far from where they grew up. And in these moments, friends become very important.
Friends can support you. Friends can listen to you. Friends can celebrate with you. Friends can help you during difficult moments.
And this idea appears again and again in the series. The 6 characters celebrate holidays together. They help each other during breakups. They support each other's dreams.
So the show tells us something gentle, something comforting. Family is not only the people you are born with. Family can also be the people who stay with you, who support you, who grow with you.
Part 5. The end of the story.
After many seasons, the characters change. They grow older. Their lives evolve. Some of them marry. Some of them have children. Some of them change careers.
And this is another beautiful part of the show. Because the story follows many years of life, it shows how friendships change, but also how they remain strong.
Yes, even when life becomes more complicated, the friendship continues. And this is a comforting message. Life changes, people change, but strong friendships can survive those changes. And now, slowly, we are arriving at the end of today's episode. Thank you very much for spending this time with us here on the Boosted English podcast. If you understood everything, that is wonderful. And if you understood only some parts, that is also perfectly okay. Learning a language is not something that happens quickly. It happens slowly, gently, step by step. So please be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. And remember that every minute you listen, every sentence you hear, is helping your English grow little by little. Take care of yourself, keep learning, and we will see you again very soon. Goodbye for now.